distance. Oh, hi there. I'm here to explain to you what you will be watching in the following navigational briefing safety video. I am now going to identify and explain to you the following items that will be discussed. Advantages and disadvantages of simulations, emergency manoeuvres. Emergency manoeuvres will comprise of emergency stops and MOB turns. Turning characteristics. This will comprise of turning circles and low speed turns. And finally, environmental effects, which will consider how the wind and tide influences the vessel. Oh, hi there. I'm here today to talk to you about the advantages of using the simulator in our navigational briefing video, and our findings, of course. So the advantages. All simulations could be conducted in completely identical conditions. The times could be recorded accurately, as all manoeuvres can be started at the same speed and at the same start point of each individual exercise. Simulations could also be sped up to reduce the time taken to gather the data. Accurate ground tracks could be measured, increasing the accuracy of measured distances, such as tactical diameters, transfers, and stopping distances. The method of using the simulator was also very cost effective to conduct the tests and required very, very little manpower in comparison to using or videoing and gathering data upon a commercial vessel. Of course. Oh, hi there. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to take the time out of my busy schedule to talk to you today about the disadvantages of the simulator. There aren't as many, but they are prevalent, and I'm going to tell you them right now. The accuracy levels of the simulations are unknown. Human error is still present when conducting manoeuvres. All simulations were conducted with no errors present. Now, on a ship, it is possible that small, unknown errors could be present and affect the manoeuvres we're testing. These errors will be ship-specific, therefore cannot be reconstructed within the simulator. Within the simulator, the vessel is assumed as perfect. It does not take into account consideration any discrepancies that may occur during the building process or as the vessel ages. And finally, there are a lot of manuals.
Emergency stopping. The tests show that when conducting emergency stops, the most efficient way to stop the vessel is by carrying out low frequency rudder cycling. This will stop the vessel within 1.5 nautical miles and under 7 minutes. Compared to crash stopping, the vessel will stop in 10 minutes and about 3.5 nautical miles. Both crash stops and low frequency rudder cycling have, when the vessel is coming to a stop, she has a tendency to veer to starboard up to 60 degrees. This is due to transverse thrust when the engines are going astern. In the event of loss of propulsion, it is recommended that high frequency rudder cycling is used to stop the vessel. It takes a long period to stop the vessel, but it is the most efficient way with no propulsion methods. MOB turns. Simulations were carried out on Anderson and Williamson turns. Both turns proved a recovery time of 7 minutes. It was found that turning to port when conducting the Anderson turn was the most effective way, and turning to starboard initially with the Williamson turn was the most effective way to use it. This is because transverse thrust aided with the turning. As a result, no recommendation has been given on which MOB turn to use. However, consideration should be given to the effects of transverse thrust. For example, if an MOB occurred on the starboard side, it is recommended that a Williamson turn is used, whereas if an MOB occurred on the port side, it is recommended that an Anderson turn is used.
Turning characteristics. From the test conducted, we found the vessel will turn better to port due to the rotation of the prop. As a result of this, the diameter or radius of the turn is also smaller when turning to port. This means that the time taken to complete the turn is also smaller, and that works for both the high-speed turning circles and low-speed turning circles. For this reason, it has been recommended from us that we turn to port where possible to utilise the characteristics of the vessel.
Hello there. The assumptions from the wind test are as follows. The unladen vessel is affected to a greater extent due to its higher area of windage than the vessel that is laden. Both vessels struggle to maintain steerage at dead slow on conditions greater than a force 6. And finally, the vessels will naturally turn to have the wind at 90 degrees to the ship's heading. Back so soon. Tidal currents. Tidal currents act in a similar way to a conveyor belt under the entire ocean, moving everything on top at a certain speed in a certain direction. This means vessels can be helped or hindered on their course when they're running with or against the tide. Or vessels can be moved off course by a tide coming in from the side.
We'd like to remind you that these recommendations are subject to the limitations previously stated. Nevertheless, we will aid you in the safe navigation of your new container vessel. Thank you and happy sailing.